I thought I had found true love with my boyfriend Jake. We had built a modest TikTok following sharing moments of our relationship, but lately he seemed obsessed with getting more views. His friends kept pushing him to create more extreme content, saying our authentic posts were boring. I never imagined that one night at a party he would betray me so completely just for social media attention. Before I tell you how I discovered what it means to truly value yourself, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button if you have ever had to rebuild your life after betrayal. I met Jake at the coffee shop where I worked as a barista. He came in every Monday and Thursday morning, always ordering the same thing, a large cold brew with just a splash of almond milk. What first caught my attention was how he always looked me in the eyes when saying thank you, unlike most customers who stayed glued to their phones. He had this warm smile that made the corners of his eyes crinkle slightly. After 2 weeks of these brief interactions, he finally introduced himself. "I am Jake, by the way. I figure we should be on a first-name basis since you are responsible for keeping me functioning twice a week." His voice was gentle with a hint of playfulness that made me smile. "Sarah," I responded, writing my name on his cup instead of the usual order number. That small gesture sparked something. The next day, he came back with a carefully wrapped box of specialty tea. "You mentioned you were a tea person. Thought you might like to try these." The thoughtfulness of that gesture struck me deeply. Our relationship blossomed naturally after that. We discovered a shared love for hiking photography and trying new restaurants. I loved capturing moments through my camera lens, while Jake appreciated experiencing new things. We complemented each other perfectly. During our first 3 months together, everything felt magical. Jake was attentive, kind, and seemed genuinely interested in my passions. He would listen intently when I talked about my dream of opening a photography studio someday. He even surprised me with a new camera lens for my birthday, having secretly noted which one I had been eyeing for months. Around our 4th month together, Jake suggested we start sharing parts of our relationship on TikTok. "We go to such beautiful places and do fun things. Why not share that with others?" It seemed harmless at the time, even fun. We started posting hiking adventures, coffee shop discoveries, and silly moments between us. Surprisingly, people responded positively. Within 2 months, we had gained about 15,000 followers. Nothing massive by influencer standards, but it felt good to connect with others who appreciated our authentic content. That was when I first noticed the subtle shift in Jake. He began checking our follower count daily, seeming disappointed when a video did not perform well. His friends, many of whom had larger social media followings, started making suggestions about how we could optimize our content. "Nobody cares about your coffee date," his friend Tyler once said while we were all hanging out at Jake's apartment. "Drama and controversy get views. You guys are too boring." I laughed it off, but Jake did not. I caught him staring at his phone later that night, scrolling through accounts with millions of followers studying their content with an intensity that made me uncomfortable. "Do you think we should be doing more pranks and challenges?" he asked me. "Those seem to get more engagement. I thought we were just sharing our lives, not trying to become famous," I replied. His response was quick, almost defensive. "Well, what is the point of posting if nobody sees it?" That question revealed a fundamental difference in our perspectives that I should have paid more attention to. For me, our relationship existed in the real world, not on a screen. The validation of strangers seemed meaningless compared to the genuine connection we shared. But for Jake, the lines were already blurring. Over the following months, Jake's obsession with our social media presence grew. He began staging what used to be spontaneous moments. "Wait, let me get my phone before you open," that he would say, or, "Can you do that again?" I was not recording. Our authentic experiences were being sacrificed for the perfect shot or clip. His friends continued feeding into this mindset. They would send him examples of couples who had gone viral with shocking revelations, dramatic breakups, or elaborate pranks. "This is what people want to see," they insisted. I tried talking to Jake about my concerns. "I feel like we are performing our relationship now, not living it." I told him one evening as we sat on my small apartment balcony. "You worry too much," he responded, not looking up from his phone where he was editing our latest video. "It is just fun. Plus, if we get enough followers, we could get sponsorships. You could quit that coffee shop job you are always complaining about." I never said I wanted to be an influencer, Jake. That is your dream, not mine. He finally looked up, a flash of annoyance crossing his face. "Why are you not supportive of this? Do you not want us to be successful?" That redefinition of success should have been my second warning. Somehow in Jake's mind, our relationship's worth had become tied to its marketability. My discomfort was increasing, but I convinced myself that this was just a phase, that the Jake who had given me specialty tea and listened to my dreams was still in there somewhere. I had no idea how wrong I was, or how dramatically everything was about to change. The night that destroyed everything started innocently enough. Jake and I had been invited to a house party hosted by his friend Tyler, who had recently hit 1 million followers with his prank videos. The guest list was filled with aspiring influencers and content creators, people who measured their worth in likes and shares. I had been hesitant to go, but Jake insisted it would be good networking. These people understand the industry, he said, as if we were business professionals rather than a couple who occasionally posted videos of our hikes and dinner dates. The party was exactly what I had expected: loud music, excessive drinking, and everyone constantly taking videos and photos. Every conversation seemed to revolve around algorithms, viral strategies, and follower counts. I felt out of place nursing the same drink all evening while Jake became increasingly intoxicated. Around midnight, I told Jake I was tired and thinking about heading home. "Already the night is just getting started," he protested, his words slightly slurred. "Just one more hour, please. Tyler is about to announce something big." I reluctantly agreed and found a quiet corner of the kitchen to wait. From there, I could see into the living room where Jake had joined a circle of guys, all with their phones out. They were laughing loudly, passing around shots. I considered joining them, but something about their huddle felt exclusive and uninviting. What I did not know then was that they had started playing a game of truth or clout, a twisted version of truth or dare, where the goal was to create the most shocking content. And Jake, drunk and eager to impress, was about to become the star. I was scrolling through Instagram when a loud burst of laughter drew my attention back to the living room. Tyler had his arm around Jake, both of them facing a phone set up on a tripod. "So tell us, Jake, what is it really like dating Sarah?" Tyler asked, his voice performatively loud. I froze, watching from a distance, something in my gut telling me not to interrupt. Jake swayed slightly, a strange smirk on his face that I had never seen before. "You want the truth?" he slurred. "She is probably the most hideous girl I have ever been with." The words hit me like a physical blow. Around him, his friends erupted in drunken laughter, encouraging him to continue. "I mean, have you seen her nose? And those thighs?" He made an exaggerated gesture with his hands. "But hey, dating the plain sweet girl gets you that nice guy image, you know, great for the followers who love that wholesome content. So you are just with her for the image?" someone asked off camera. Jake shrugged dramatically. "For now. Planning to dump her soon anyway. Need someone more marketable if I am going to hit 1 million followers. More laughter, more shots, more degrading comments about my appearance, my personality, my value as a partner." I stood frozen in the kitchen, unable to move or even breathe properly. No one had noticed me standing there, witnessing the destruction of everything I thought we had. Tyler clapped Jake on the back. "This is gold, man. Pure gold. The followers are going to eat this up." "Post it," Jake slurred, raising his shot glass. "Let the world know the truth. I do not remember leaving the party. I do not remember the Uber ride home. I do not remember climbing the 3 flights of stairs to my apartment. All I remember is sitting on my bathroom floor at 3 in the morning, my phone buzzing incessantly with notifications, as Jake's cruel confessions spread across TikTok like wildfire." The video had already gathered 50,000 views by the time I saw it, with hundreds of comments ranging from those expressing shock and sympathy for me to others joining in on mocking my appearance. People I had never met were tagging me, sending me the clip, asking if I had seen what my boyfriend really thought of me. I watched it 17 times. Each viewing was another knife in my chest, but I could not stop. I kept searching for a sign that he was joking, that this was some terrible prank. But the look in his eyes, the casual cruelty in his voice, there was no mistaking the truth. At 4:30 a.m., when the video had reached nearly 100,000 views, I sent Jake a single text: "I saw the video. Do not contact me." Then I turned off my phone, packed a small bag, and left my apartment. I needed to disappear before he woke up, and the inevitable flood of excuses began. I needed space to process the public humiliation that was still spreading online while I sat broken in the back of another Uber, this time headed to my sister's place across town. By morning, the video had been viewed over 250,000 times. My social media accounts were flooded with messages from strangers. Some were surprisingly kind, offering support and condemning Jake's behavior. Others were horrifically cruel, picking apart my appearance, or suggesting I should have known I was not good enough for someone like Jake. My sister Megan held me as I sobbed, my entire body shaking with the pain and humiliation. He never loved me, I kept repeating. I was just content for him. Just a stepping stone. My phone showed 37 missed calls from Jake by noon, along with dozens of text messages ranging from, "It was just a joke," to, "Please answer me," to, "You are overreacting." Each notification felt like another small betrayal. Megan finally took my phone from my hands. "You do not need to see this right now," she said firmly. "And you definitely do not need to talk to him." "What am I going to do?" I asked her, feeling more lost than I had ever felt in my life. Everyone has seen it. How can I go back to work? How can I face anyone? My sister, always the practical one, helped me formulate a plan. First, I would take a leave of absence from the coffee shop using my accumulated vacation days. Second, I would deactivate all of my social media accounts to create a barrier between myself and the ongoing fallout. Third, I would start seeing Megan's therapist, who fortunately had an opening that week. And fourth, Megan added her voice hard with protective anger. "You will never, ever give that narcissistic monster another chance, no matter what he says." In that moment, huddled in my sister's guest room with my world collapsing around me, I made myself a promise I would find a way to rebuild myself from this public destruction. Somehow, this would not be the end of my story. The first week of my disappearance was the hardest. My body physically ached with the betrayal, my mind constantly replaying Jake's words and the laughter of his friends. I barely ate, rarely slept, and spent hours staring blankly at my sister's wall, trying to understand how someone who had claimed to love me could humiliate me so completely. Meanwhile, the video continued its viral spread. According to Megan, who kept tabs on the situation while I remained disconnected, Jake was facing significant backlash. Several small brands that had previously partnered with him had publicly cut ties. His follower count was dropping as people expressed their disgust at his behavior. He had posted a tearful apology video that was widely criticized as insincere and self-serving. "He is only sorry because there were consequences," Megan told me over the bland pasta dinner I was barely touching. "Not because he hurt you. My first therapy session was brutal but necessary, doctor." Lowenstein helped me understand that what I was experiencing was not just heartbreak but a form of trauma. Public humiliation triggers the same brain responses as physical pain, she explained. Your brain is essentially processing this as a threat to your survival. That explained why even getting out of bed felt like an insurmountable task. Why my hands shook when I thought about eventually returning to work or reactivating my social media. My body was in survival mode. During the second week, Jake's attempts to contact me grew more desperate. He began calling Megan, who refused to tell him where I was. He showed up at the coffee shop, only to learn I had taken a leave of absence. According to my coworker Zoe, who texted Megan, he had seemed genuinely distraught, claiming he needed to explain and make things right. "There is nothing to explain," I told Megan when she relayed this information. I watched him say those things. The entire internet watched him say those things. By the end of the second week, something shifted inside me. The constant pain began to transform into something harder, more resolved. During my therapy session, Dr. Lowenstein introduced the concept of post-traumatic growth. Some people, after experiencing significant trauma, don't just recover, they actually grow beyond their previous state, she explained. They rebuild themselves stronger with clearer boundaries and values. The idea resonated with me. I did not want to merely survive this. I wanted to emerge from it with something valuable. The humiliation Jake had subjected me to had stripped me bare, but perhaps that meant I had the opportunity to rebuild myself intentionally. I began making small but significant changes. I started going on morning walks with Megan, reintroducing my body to movement and fresh air. I rediscovered my love for photography, capturing small moments of beauty in my sister's neighborhood. I started a journal where I documented not just my pain but my realizations about the relationship and about myself. One of the most important revelations was how much of myself I had compromised to accommodate Jake's growing obsession with social media. I had dismissed my own discomfort, made excuses for his changing behavior, and slowly accepted a relationship that was increasingly performed rather than lived. Why had my self-worth become so entangled with his approval? At the beginning of the third week, Megan came home from work with news that made my stomach drop. Jake got fired from his marketing job, she said cautiously. Apparently, the company has a morality clause, and the video violated it. Despite everything, my first instinct was concern. Then I caught myself. That is not my problem anymore, I said, firmly surprising both of us with my resolve. That same day, I did something that felt both terrifying and liberating. I called my boss at the coffee shop and arranged to return to work the following Monday. I could not hide forever, and the longer I stayed in seclusion, the more power I gave to the humiliation. My boss, Jennifer, was surprisingly understanding. "Take all the time you need," she assured me. "And if anyone gives you trouble, they will answer to me." The support reminded me that there were still good people in the world, people who valued human dignity over viral entertainment. It gave me the courage to take the next step in my recovery, deciding when and how to face Jake, who I knew would eventually confront me directly. That night I sat with Megan and drafted a plan. I would return to my apartment the day before going back to work. I would prepare what I wanted to say to Jake when he inevitably showed up. I would reclaim my space and my life on my own terms. "Are you sure you are ready?" Megan asked, concern evident in her voice. I nodded, surprising myself with my certainty. I cannot hide forever. And I need to look him in the eyes when I tell him exactly what his 15 minutes of viral fame cost both of us. On Sunday morning, exactly 3 weeks after the video that changed everything, Megan helped me move back into my apartment. We changed the locks, rearranged the furniture, and cleared out every trace of Jake, including the specialty teas he had once given me, which now felt like artifacts from a relationship that had never really existed. I went to bed that night in my own space, feeling both vulnerable and strangely powerful. Whatever happened next, I would face it as the new version of myself that was still emerging from the ashes of public humiliation, not as the naive girl who had mistaken performance for love. Monday morning arrived with a sense of inevitability. I had just finished getting dressed for my first day back at work when the knocking started. It was barely 7 a.m., but I had expected this. Jake knew my schedule. He knew I would be awake. I took a deep breath, centered myself as doctor. Lowenstein had taught me and opened the door. Jake looked terrible. His usual carefully styled hair was disheveled, his clothes wrinkled as if he had slept in them. His eyes were bloodshot with dark circles underneath. As soon as he saw me, he fell to his knees in my doorway, tears immediately streaming down his face. "Sarah," he choked out. "Thank God. I have been going crazy trying to find you." I stood silently taking in the man who had broken my heart and humiliated me in front of hundreds of thousands of strangers. I felt strangely calm, detached, even as if I were observing a scene in a movie rather than living it. "Please," he continued, his voice breaking, "please just let me explain. It was not real. I was drunk. They pressured me. It was just for the video. You know I do not think those things about you." 3 weeks ago, those words might have softened me. I might have wanted so badly to believe him that I would have accepted any explanation. But the woman standing in that doorway was not the same one who had watched that video in horror. "Get up," I said quietly. "I will not talk to you while you are kneeling in my doorway, creating another scene." He scrambled to his feet, looking momentarily confused by my composure. He had clearly expected hysterics, tears, or perhaps desperate relief that he had come back for me. "Can I come in?" he asked tentatively. I shook my head. "No. Say what you need to say right here." His face fell, but he nodded. "I messed up, Sarah. I messed up so badly. The video, it was not real. I was drunk and stupid and trying to impress those guys. You know, they always made me feel insecure about our content, about not having enough followers. So you humiliated me to impress them," I stated flatly. Not a question, just a confirmation of facts. "It was not supposed to go online," he protested. "Tyler posted it without my permission. And when I woke up the next day and saw what was happening, I tried to get him to take it down, but it had already been shared too many times." "Did you say those things about me?" I asked, my voice steady. He looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "I was drunk, Sarah. I did not mean any of it." "That is not what I asked." "Did you say those things about me?" A long pause. "Yes," he finally admitted. "But I swear I did not mean them." I nodded, taking that in. Here is what I have realized, Jake. Whether you meant them or not does not actually matter. What matters is that you were willing to say them at all. You were willing to sacrifice my dignity for a few laughs and the possibility of more followers. I have lost everything because of this stupid mistake, he said, his voice rising with emotion. My job, my sponsorships, most of my followers. My parents won't even talk to me. I need you, Sarah. I need you to forgive me so I can start to fix this. And there it was, the real reason for his breakdown. Not genuine remorse for hurting me, but desperation to repair his own damaged life. He needed my forgiveness to redeem himself in the eyes of others. I am not responsible for fixing what you broke, I said quietly. And I am not a prop in your redemption story. What are you saying? He asked, a note of panic entering his voice. You are not even going to give me a chance to make this right. I took a deep breath. I have had 3 weeks to think about this, Jake. 3 weeks of therapy, of introspection, of figuring out how someone I loved could do something so casually cruel. And I have realized something important: I deserve better than being someone's stepping stone or content creation tool. I deserve to be loved authentically, not performatively. I do love you authentically, he protested. No, you do not. You love the idea of me, the image of us. But real love does not humiliate. Real love does not degrade. Real love values privacy and dignity over views and followers. His face hardened slightly. So that is it, 3 weeks of ignoring me, and now you will not even try to work through this. One mistake and you are throwing away 14 months. This was not just a mistake, Jake. It was a revelation. It showed me who you really are and what you really value. And I cannot unhear those words or unsee the look on your face when you said them. He stared at me, tears still streaming down his face, but I could see anger mingling with the desperation now. What am I supposed to do? My life is ruined. You rebuild, I said simply. Just like I am doing. You figure out who you want to be without the validation of strangers on the internet. You learn from this and become better. Sarah, please. He tried once more, reaching for my hand. I stepped back. I have to go to work now. Do not come back here. Do not contact me again. We are done, Jake, and nothing you can say will change that. The look of shock on his face almost made me waver, but I held firm. I closed the door gently but firmly, leaning against it as I heard his broken sobs from the hallway. Part of me ached to comfort him out of habit, if nothing else. But I remained still, breathing deeply until I heard his footsteps retreating. As I walked to work that morning, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. The pain was still there, it would be for a long time, but it was now accompanied by something else: pride. Pride in my own strength, in my ability to stand firm in my worth, in my refusal to accept anything less than genuine respect and love. The coffee shop was quiet when I arrived, but Jennifer greeted me with a warm hug. It is good to have you back, she said, simply not asking questions or demanding explanations. It is good to be back, I replied, surprised to find I actually meant it. As I tied my apron and prepared for my shift, I realized this was the first day of my new life, a life I was building on my own terms, free from the distorting lens of social media validation and the hollow love it had fostered. 6 months have passed since that morning when I closed the door on Jake and my old life. The journey has not been easy, but it has been transformative in ways I never could have imagined. The first few weeks back at work were challenging. Some customers recognized me from the viral video, their eyes filling with either pity or morbid curiosity. But with each passing day, the recognition faded. The internet moved on to new dramas, new viral moments, new targets for its fleeting attention. I stayed off social media for 3 months, focusing instead on rebuilding my real-world connections. My sister Megan remained my rock, checking in daily and celebrating each small victory with me. My coworkers at the coffee shop formed a protective circle, shutting down gossip and creating a safe space for me to heal. Dr. Lowenstein continued to guide me through the process of post-traumatic growth. Your response to this situation has been remarkable, she told me during one session. Many people would have internalized those cruel words, but you recognized them as a reflection of him, not you. That was perhaps the most important lesson, understanding that Jake's betrayal said everything about him and nothing about me. His willingness to sacrifice my dignity for social validation revealed his own emptiness, his own desperate need for approval from strangers. Slowly, I reconnected with my passion for photography. What started as casual snapshots during walks through the city evolved into a small freelance business. I began taking portraits for local small business owners, capturing the authentic spirit of their work rather than the polished, filtered images that dominate social media. There is something deeply fulfilling about creating images that celebrate reality rather than distort it. Each photograph I take feels like a small act of rebellion against the culture that nearly destroyed me, a declaration that authenticity matters more than perfection. When I finally returned to social media, it was with firm boundaries and clear intentions. I created new accounts focused solely on my photography, with strict privacy settings and a zero-tolerance policy for negative comments. I share my work, not my personal life, and measure success by the quality of my images rather than their popularity. I heard about Jake occasionally through mutual friends. After our final confrontation, he apparently spiraled further, posting increasingly desperate apology videos that only made things worse. Eventually, he deleted all his social media accounts and moved back to his hometown, taking a job at his father's hardware store. The most unexpected outcome of this painful chapter has been my involvement with a nonprofit organization that educates teens about the psychological impacts of social media. Once a month, I share my story with high school students, helping them understand the difference between authentic connection and performative relationships. Social media is not inherently bad, I tell them, but it becomes destructive when you start valuing the opinions of strangers over your own integrity or the feelings of those who truly love you. The students always listen intently, many of them recognizing their own behaviors in my story. Some have approached me afterward, deleting apps right there on the spot, or sharing their own experiences of betrayal for likes. Each of these moments feels like transforming my pain into something meaningful. Last week, I received an unexpected letter. It was from Jake's mother, a woman I had met only twice during our relationship. She wrote to thank me for indirectly helping her son find his way back to himself. According to her, losing everything had forced him to confront his values and priorities. He was in therapy now, working through his issues with validation and authenticity. The letter ended with a line that brought tears to my eyes. He does not know I am writing to you, and I am not asking you to respond or reconnect. I simply wanted you to know that your strength in walking away ultimately helped two people heal, not just yourself. I keep that letter in my journal as a reminder that even our most painful experiences can create ripples of positive change. The humiliation I endured became the catalyst for growth, not just for me, but perhaps for Jake as well. Today, as I prepare for a gallery showing of my photography next month, I feel grateful for the painful lessons that brought me here. I am not the same woman who once defined her worth through someone else's eyes or measured her success in likes and followers. I am stronger, clearer, and infinitely more authentic. The betrayal that once felt like an ending turned out to be a beginning, a doorway to a life lived on my own terms with relationships based on genuine respect rather than mutual performance. Sometimes public humiliation can be the first step toward private liberation. If you have ever had your trust betrayed or felt the sting of public humiliation, remember that it does not define you. It is merely a painful chapter in a much longer story that you get to write. The most powerful response to humiliation is not hiding or seeking revenge, but rebuilding with intention and authenticity. Have you ever experienced betrayal that ultimately led to personal growth? Share your story in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, please hit subscribe and like this video to help others find it who might need to hear this message. Remember that your worth is never determined by someone else's words or actions, only by the truth you know about yourself. Thank you for listening to my journey, and I hope it brings some comfort to anyone going through their own storm right now.